So in this world is extremely spiritual. Before it is physical, it's spiritual. Now, in the spiritual realm, everything I'm gonna say in my videos is biblical. It's not my opinion, it's not my feelings. It's not the way that seems right to me. It's biblical. I'm gonna call out a few verses in the Bible of things that the Bible tells you to do when you're under attack. For example, it says, imaginations that exalt themselves above God, cast them down, pull them down. So then I want to pose to you a question. The question is, do you, I know that you have, but are you dealing with imaginations that come to show you doing something that you don't want to partake in? It's an identity that you don't want to affiliate yourself with. When you see these imaginations, movies, clips, this image of you, it could even be a dream that you have at night, or it could be while you're driving. You have an imagination of you, and imaginations come in very big forms, and for example, an imagination could be a voice. You know, sometimes a voice is telling you to do something that you in your heart, the real you cringe at it, at that voice. You cringe at it. And the reason why you cringe is because you're like, man, that's not me. I don't want to do that. Right? But you are bothered because it's coming from within you. And so this voice or this imagination or these things that the Bible refers to as evil spirits, demons, principalities, etc., their job, assignment, is to mold you into their image. Their image is perverted. Their image is dirty, sinful in nature. Their image is contaminated. They are against the things of God. And so imagine that your mother, grandmother, or somebody in your family practiced card reading or psychics or this or that. The way that this works, according to the Bible, is this. You're born. Your grandmother practiced this. You're born. That demon was entered in because your grandmother opened the door to it, because it made friends with that demon. That person made friends with that by doing what they love to do. You know, if I go and hang around with people that are doing the wrong thing, the first time that they see me, they'll notice me from the lens of, you don't belong here, who are you? That would be the first. But the game here is this. Demons won't turn away anybody. That's why you see a lot of people that don't look like a gangster. They're 12 years old, 11 years old. They're starting to dress the part, and they want to act the part. But you look at them and you say, yeah, you're a good kid, man. Why you're heading in the wrong direction. What people don't see, I'll tell you what people do see. What people do see is a psychological issue of the person trying to look for identity, and he's missing his, maybe he doesn't have a father at home and he's looking for attention. This is the psychological world of how they would define that person. He's looking for attention, he's hurt, he's going through a phase, etc. All this stuff. But in the spiritual world, this is what's happening. He's being abducted. I mean that in the sense of he went and affiliated himself in a place where those demons dwell. Maybe there was a friend of his that was tagging up. He went over there, called him over there. He looked at him, the guy tagging up or whatever. Now, all we're able to see with our physical eyes is human encounters. So you see two guys talking. One guy has an aerosol in his hand. The other guy's talking. That's all you see in the physical. I'll tell you what's happening in the spiritual. In the spiritual, the guy with the aerosol, he's already been initiated in terms of he's got a demon already. Okay, maybe he has more than one. And so when he's doing this, the demon in him says, hey, come. And the reason why I know this, guys, as a side disclaimer, is because I used to do it. Not tag up on the wall. I used to initiate people. Not me, but the demons in me, to get the younger generation, the innocent generation, to join me. That's a side note. I used to get people to want to smoke and drink and pop pills and do all these things. And it wasn't me. But people that didn't do it, I would make it out to be like this big, grand, fun thing that they were missing out on. And that they just had to do it. Because they were just missing out. And it was an act. It was a show. It was because on the inside I was dead. On the inside I was anything but happy. But on the outside, all you saw was the biggest smile, you know, and all of this kind of like act to get people to follow in that direction, and it worked. It worked a lot of the time because people are easily deceived. And so I'm teaching people now about what to look out for and what to watch out for. First thing I want you to watch out for is the fruit. And what the fruit is that if you do something bad, it doesn't automatically come out to greet you. When you do something bad, you get bad, and when you do something good, you get good. The laws of God is that you will reap what you sow. In this world, they call that karma. In God's world, in God's Bible, He calls that you reap what you sow. You put down negativity, you're going to pick up negativity. You know, there's a reason why prisoners and people that live out to hurt people and stuff like that, there's a reason why they put little teardrops here. They try to disguise it as, oh, I murdered somebody or something like that, and each teardrop. But really, man, really, because I lived that life, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's disguised as being cool. But man, those guys suffer. Man, they're in darkness. They're in pain. They're broken. They need love. They need resurrection. They need they wish that they would do life all over again in God's way, right? Because they found out the hard way that this was not the way, but now they're in too deep, so to speak, and they feel like they can't change. But that's a lie. God could change anybody. All we have to do as a human race is submit to God. That's the key that I have found. That with God, submission is one of those things that allows Him to operate in our life. But if we want to fight God, then the journey's gonna be a long journey, right? So submission is something that you have to learn. You have to learn obedience, learn submission, learn how to yield, learn that God's way is the best way, learn that God is right, and you're not. Learn that, because it's not gonna come automatic. You have to learn it. So anyways, so what's happening in that picture is that the demon and the person with the aerosol, going back to the story, you know, he sees potential in this other guy. You see, the way the demons look at people is how much garbage or how much drama, how much chaos, how much destruction can I cause through you. That's how they see it. They see potential. Say, I can do a lot through you. All right, let's get them. All right, how are we gonna get them? This is them conversating. All right, well, You know, the mom and the mom's boyfriend do drugs. Let's get him to be curious about the drugs. You know, usually he fears the drugs. He doesn't want to be anything like his mom. But I'm gonna have the stepdad be friendly with him. And I have him be friendly with him, and he's gonna like the friendliness. He's going to like the bonding experience, and so out of that, we're gonna come in and we're gonna get him to try it. And when he tries it, we're gonna give him a zing. We're gonna give him a beautiful experience, one that he says, "I want to come back to." This is how they operate. So yeah, man. Before you know it, that guy that didn't want to do it, you know, they manipulated him into doing it. That's why I'm always reverting back and saying bad is bad and good is good. Bad will never be good and good will never be bad. So there's always this peer pressure that other people are trying to get you to do, and it's usually bad things, right? Disguised as fun. Disguised as fun. That's their whole hook, bait and hook there. It's that doing bad things is fun. And the element there is that the adrenaline of doing something bad, of getting caught, causes you to think that you're having fun, because you're doing something that could get you into trouble. And yeah, basically your heart is beating, and they say, well, we're having fun because of this, right? And so it took me many years to figure this out, but what I figured out was that peace surpasses most things in this life in terms of treasure. You see, in that life of doing bad, one thing that leaves you is peace. You don't rest. You don't have. You know what it's like to be uneasy. You know what it's like to have somebody look for you, and you're hiding, and somebody's looking for you, and you're looking out the window because you did something bad, and now they're looking for you for revenge. You know, that's what that life is all about. And there's no peace there. You start to accumulate. You start to accumulate these sins and these enemies, and sooner or later, you start to become paranoid. You start to become schizophrenic and bipolar and all these other things. And by then, the demons really got you, and it's really hard at that time, you know, to quit drugs or to quit anything, because when they're running your life, you're not in control anymore. It's a delusion that you're in control. They're in control. You're not in control anymore. They got it. They got you. Just like they had me once upon a time. I wasn't in control. I remember doing things that I would cry, physical tears, and I would try to give myself a talk. Say, Mike, come on, man. Why are you doing this, Mike? Come on, man. Come to, you know, let's really talk about this, because there was demons in me that made me feel like I was them. That was the thing. I was counseling a demon at that time, but really I thought it was me, right? Because I didn't know anything about the spiritual realm. And so I would look in the mirror and I would see eyes looking back at me in the mirror that weren't my eyes. Now, I didn't know a lot, but I knew that those weren't my eyes. And so basically these were hints. These were hints of my life needing to change. So I don't want to make this video too long, but in the end, in conclusion, to give you hope and to give you keys of success and whatnot, what you need to do to overcome your demons, is that you see all these movies. Often the devil will give you the answers in the movies that he plays. Not only will he give you the answer, he'll give you what he's about to do or what he's currently doing. You see all these movies of, you know, we're living in a movie right now. It's like they come out with The Purge, and we saw a movie called The Purge, and now it's like, oh, it's real life. And it's like movies have a big significance in what the devil's telling you that he's going to do next or he's currently doing, etc. But every now and again you'll see you'll see that the movie has uh, keys to success. Like, well, within the movie, if you do this, then you take down the bad guys, so to speak. And so, a lot of these movies of vampires or whatever, demons and this and that, Jesus is what takes them down. He's usually a priest with a cross. He puts it on the forehead or this or that. And that's what I mean to tell you when I tell you that Jesus is the way. Like, it is, like, there's a significance message there for everyone to learn, that you don't need anything but Jesus. That is the truth of the truth of the truth. I found this out from a big struggle and trying to do it my way for many years, and trying to find the right way of doing life and this and that. And I just found that Jesus is enough. Like, Jesus is enough. I don't need Jesus and like a bunch of saints. I don't need Jesus and some other gods to come on. I only need Jesus. Well, why is that? Because Jesus is enough. Jesus is sufficient. Jesus is God Almighty. Jesus created the heavens and the earth, and he didn't call for help. When Jesus created the universe, he didn't say, hey, I'm gonna need some other gods to help me. And the reason why I say this is that there's people that have Jesus, but they have so many other things in their life as well that they worship, and it's just not gonna work, because those things are referred to as gods and idols and abominations before God. God will not share himself. He's a jealous God. He wants you all to himself. He's not into that. You know, that's like having the equivalent of having an orgy in the spirit. You know, it's like you're prostituting God. You're like, well, today I want you, but tomorrow I'm gonna call on so and so to help me. It's like it comes off as very insultful. And I'll tell you another thing before I end the video. Yesterday I was fasting, and so basically I broke the fast somewhere along the way, because spiritual warfare, you know, nobody's exempt from it. Nobody's on top of the ball 24/7 saying, well, I got this. And no, sometimes we all stumble, right? And so basically what I want to say is that I broke my fast because the wrong ideas were coming in my head, and those ideas, I wasn't doing a good enough job at rebuking them or turning it around, right? Taking that thought into captivity, as the Bible says. So the thoughts were, well, what's the difference between fasting and not fasting? This is what I was struggling with yesterday, and this is what God told me after I broke the fast. So the challenge there was, what's the difference between fasting and not fasting? You're coming out the same way you came in. You probably won't get anything out of this, and you know, what's the point? I mean, look, there's an Arby's right there. Let's just eat. And it, you know, and then that voice just continues like I call it like a woodpecker, just hitting that thing. And you know what? If you're not guarded, protected, you're not interceding for yourself, then you will eventually fall for that lie, because you're not helping yourself to destroy the lie. So I didn't do a good enough job at destroying the lie, and that was my story of yesterday. And then once I ate, God spoke to me, and God told me that I was taking his glory, that I was giving him glory, but then I was taking it back. And so I was just like, well, I never looked at it like that. When we fast, we're always thinking about ourselves and thinking about, like, what am I gonna get out of this deal? But in terms of giving God glory. I never looked at it like that. But once he did, I started a new fast, and then I completed that one with a new mentality. And that's what God's all about, you know, renewing the mind and whatnot. 20 minutes in, we'll leave it there. God bless.